been doing art my whole life, and I love drawing and painting. And when I was really young, my mom used a little drawing that I'd done as a logo for her business. So it was like I was published really early, and I kept at it. And I had a teacher in 6th grade who was so supportive, and she just gave me a lot of encouragement in art. And so I stuck with the art and got my degree, and continued to study and just enjoy painting so much. And it was in, let's see, I think it was 2009, my husband and I were training for a sprint triathlon, and before that I had been painting in sort of a poster style and sort of doing some kind of mimicking some old vintage poster looks. And so when my husband and I got out on the Greenway trails in Raleigh, and we're both from Raleigh, we grew up there, we realized just how extensive these trails were. And I just thought it was so beautiful to be out there and be in nature, yet you're right in the city. And it was this juxtaposition that was so interesting to me. And the bridges were so graceful and interesting. So I just got really inspired by the trails. And I look not only to some of those old vintage national parks posters for inspiration, but just sort of general travel posters that come from like the 1920s and 1930s. So the work for this space, I thought, how much more appropriate than the Garner greenways. So this piece over here on the right was a commission, and someone came to me and she said, my husband worked on those, and he helped design some of the White Deer Park and South Garner Greenway. So these two were actually sketches that I created in preparation to painting the original of this one. So these are all prints from the originals. The originals of these paintings are done with gouache paint, and they are, some of them have watercolor as well as gouache, but gouache is a watercolor. It's just very, very opaque, so it lays very flat on the surface of the paper. So they're done on watercolor paper that's very thick, and it's really called a watercolor board. And then gouache is the name of the paint. So I do the originals. I work with a local printer in Raleigh who does these archival prints that I've left as an open edition, because part of this project, I've really enjoyed donating funding back to the Greenway system. And I'm 5 years in, and I've donated nearly $10,000 to the Greenway system locally, and that's through Raleigh Parks and Rec Greenway Department. But then there's a group that I also donate money to called Triangle Greenways Council, and they're very active in getting more land donated to use for Greenway trails, because I know there's a lot of Greenway trails still planned yet for our county. For sure. I do think art is just really important. It's visual information you were getting all the time. And so I sometimes sort of laugh at myself because I do put the words Greenway on pieces and I do write on them. It's, to me, kind of blurring that line between advertising and art. One of the absolute best compliments I've ever gotten on my work was a woman bought a small print from me, and she said, I'm going to hang this up and it's going to remind me every day how happy I am when I'm outside and on the trails. And I just thought, that's just awesome. That's a wonderful compliment to get, that if my art can inspire somebody to get off the couch and go outside and move around and just enjoy nature, I think that's the best I could hope for. I take my camera on my bike and I go and explore the trails and take a slew of pictures. And actually, yeah, that's part of the process, is I'll take those pictures and manipulate them a little on my computer. I'm too cheap to buy Photoshop. I don't use all that complicated equipment, but just sort of some of the filters help me to simplify the image and sort of narrow down. The next step, and what these two items are, is after manipulating the photograph a little bit, I'll paint right on top and do several color studies to sort of narrow down what color choices, because they really are, almost all of these, I consider them color studies. It's a way of, the greenway gives me the subject matter, but then it's a matter of playing with colors like the pink tree and the yellow skies. So that's a really enjoyable part to me, is just seeing how colors interact. My art studio is located in Art Space in downtown Raleigh. I have a website, and it is autumncobelandpaintings.com, and it has my all the Greenway series on there, and availability to order online. I am on Instagram and Twitter at Greenway Artist.